What is going on, everybody? Back with another video. And look, we haven't talked about Georgia Southern in some weeks, and I'm kind of feeling some type of way because we haven't talked about our Eagles. But listen, it is National Signing Day. A lot of recruits have came in, a lot of transfers come in, and we got a lot to talk about. And the Eagles definitely leveled up from last year. We saw a very talented team basically, got right where we thought they would be at the end of the day. If we're being honest, a lot of people thought we was going to be one of those top teams in the Sun Belt, but we kind of did what we were supposed to do. We won our bowl game, we beat our rivals, could have won a couple more games, but uh, I think the expectation was a little bit too high. But nevertheless, we definitely leveled up, and the expectations for this year should not be high at all. We should be one of those top teams in the Sun Belt, probably getting towards one of those group of six, bids or whatever. I'm getting ahead of myself, so I don't want to get to that right now. But Eagles definitely leveled up on National Signing Day. Not only we got a good bit of recruits, we actually got a chance to hear from Coach Clay Helton about a few things. Shout out to Josh Aubrey with the Statesboro Herald. He is absolutely awesome. I think he's still with the Statesboro Herald. If not, I apologize. But nevertheless, always excellent to watch any of his content, hear from any of his content. Love listening to his stuff. I'll have the link down in the description if you want to check out any of his work on X. And yeah, we're going to look at a couple of these clips that he put together. And also we're going to look at the signees that we got for National Signing Day. So let's listen to these couple of clips real quick, and we're going to get right into it. Put my headset on so we can hear. And let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, let's say Josh Aubrey said he had a chance to sit down with Coach Clay Helton to discuss the later transfer portal signees, and we'll post a whole interview on here, I guess, on X, but we're going to go through these first two clips. This is why I said I'm going to put the link down in the description so you can check out the entire interview on his X account. But here's how the increased NIL money helped Georgia Southern football. Let's get into it.
Being able to bring back a guy like Josh, to bring back Chance, to go out and get guys like Cam Michael and Max, it seems like you've got a lot of talent coming in, and it seems like your NIL money must be in a good spot for you to be able to keep and to get some of these guys.
Yeah, Josh, I can't thank our administration enough. Dr. Marrero, Chris Davis, as well as the donors. We almost went up 4 times the amount of money that we've had in the past, and I appreciate the resources so much. Our football program appreciates it.
Yeah, they 4x their money, and this is one of the reasons why Coach Clay Helton is still sitting around. A lot of people wanted him to get fired, and a lot of people didn't want him at some point. But I think a lot of people also knew that this is one of the reasons why he's still around, because, I mean, with him at the helm, a lot of money is being raised, so I don't know if that's a correlation, but yeah.
Appreciate those resources from each individual group. Our donors stepped up, our administration stepped up. Chris Davis has been so proactive in this realm, and now you see, and I credit, you really see the type of guys that it's really important for them to be on the field and produce tape. There's a lot of money being out there in college football right now.
Yeah, it is.
These guys chose what was best for them. I think Cam Brown was such a great example last year.
He really was, and he's probably the driving factor why a lot of kids are coming to this school. I don't think a lot of people really realize how big Cam Brown was for this football program. I mean, you're almost talking about like a Cal Van Tree situation, if not even a more impact of a Cal Van Tree situation. Yeah, it was that big, especially when you see the wide receivers that we got coming in. That's a bad picture of Coach right there.
Of being able to come here and be able to produce staggering numbers and turn down a lot of money to be able to have that type of experience and build that type of resume. And I think when you have that, it really shined with a Max, with a Cam, with some guys that, we're looking at Power 4 for maybe 4 times, 6 times the money. And they said, you know what, this is a great place here. We can win here, and we can produce great numbers here within these systems. And because of that, that's why those men are here.
You know what? And this is another thing that when it comes to NIL money in college, with money comes responsibility. A lot of people say these kids need to go and get the bag and do this, that, and the third, but it comes with a lot of responsibility. And sometimes getting that early money like that don't pan out because these teams probably expect a lot from you because they're paying you this type of money. So the turn down money and you're in a situation where it's less pressure, you could play more loose, you could do more things when it comes to actually being more of an asset to the bigger picture instead of your pockets. Sometimes you get that back in tenfold. And Cam Brown, he needs to get drafted by NFL roster. I think he's that good. And I think you bet on yourself. Sometimes it works out. So here's the other clip that we're going to talk about right here. We're talking about Cam Mike and Cameron Michael, Cam Mike, and Max Johnson, two guys that probably wouldn't have came here, but the fact that they're here, guys come from Colorado and USC respectively. UNC respectively. He's going to talk about this, how landing those guys and keeping Josh Dallas and Chance Gamble, which Josh thought that these guys were going to probably walk at some point. They came back. So let's see what he had to say about this.
Speaking of Max and Cam, you've got a couple of four-star guys. Cam was a top 20 in the country when he was a senior in high school. Tell us a little bit about those guys and what kind of impact you're expecting out of them.
Yeah.
Okay, before he said, I think the whole situation with Cam and a few other athletes come here, I'm telling you, I think that had a lot to do with the way Cam Brown played last year. And I'm not going to lie, I think that had a lot to do with it. But I could be wrong, but there's a correlation there.
Yeah, in Cam, what a long relationship this has been. It reminds me how important trust and relationships are in this game. And I've been watching Cam since he was a sophomore in high school, and how special he was. And we just had a really nice relationship through his high school years, and have always been a fan of his. And that relationship carried over when he decided to make a change and find a new home. And
and that's another thing. Even though I did just say what I said about Cam Brown, I'm telling you, they had this relationship, like he said, and he's a local kid, so I can understand where that relationship come from. And sometimes these kids make decisions to go play for bigger organizations when they have the opportunities. Nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, sometimes the connections you have and the people that you work with and run with, there's no price tag on that. And we saw that with JD King when JD King was here. He wanted to come back after being at Oklahoma State. He came back home and actually did very well for himself for the most part. So things like that do help. It really does.
I think that's what won out. In the end, he had a ton of places that he could have gone to getting back in the transfer portal. But I think he's seen what we've done here. It is home for him, and he wants to be an offensive player. And I got to see what he can do with the ball in his hands.
There you go.
Physically, you and I were standing on the sidelines one night watching him put on a show, and I can't imagine him within our system. I just look forward to being able to do the things I know he can do, pushing the ball down the field vertically in his route running, and being able to do some of the things not only Cam did, but Cam Brown did and Marcus did, but also Dalen Cobb did. He's a special athlete.
See, this goes back to what I'm saying. Even though with all this stuff is going on, the familiarity and seeing what the guys he just mentioned, Cam Brown, Marcus Sanders, Dalen Cobb, those guys put it in place for guys like Cam that want to come because they see what's going on. Even before Cam Brown, you saw what what's his name? You had a couple other guys that was here that did very good things. Their names just basically got away from me. But you know who I mean, like the guys like Derwin Burgess, the other kid, oh my goodness, number 7, I can't remember his name that quick. Even those type of guys, they came through and made other receivers come here. It's just a continuation of it.
Because he can play inside or out, and so I'm looking forward to that opportunity. With Max, what awesome opportunity for him and for us. You know, anytime you lose a 1 year kid in JC French, he's got 1 year left. He's been ultra productive, a lot of experience. That's what we were looking for. You know, we lost a 1 year kid left, and we wanted to find a kid that had 1 year that had a lot of production and a lot of experience. And we wanted to keep that separation of this really talented room that has some really great young quarterbacks in it, and keep that experience. And now you got that. You know, with Max and Turner both being 1 year guys down the stretch that have played a lot of football, and then you got this talented young group of quarterbacks that are redshirt freshmen and
You know what? That makes a lot of sense now, because if JC French would have stayed, I mean, I'm one of the type that probably said that, hey, JC French probably going to lose the starting job. And you know, I thought Weston Bryant was going to be the guy, but the coaches have a philosophy in the lineup to what they want to do. And basically they wanted to keep that one more year. And in the following year, I guess next year, you're going to see actually one of these guys step up to be the quarterback. So that's really interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
freshmen. That's what we wanted to be able to keep, is that dynamic. And credit to Coach Applin, I thought he did a masterful job in the guys that we brought in. And we picked a guy, and he picked us, that just was a perfect fit for both sides. And we're so thankful that he's here.
Where do you see Weston Bryant fitting in next year?
Excellent question. I'm glad he said it, because this is what I want to know. Where do Weston Bryant fit for next year? Because everybody know this kid can play.
Yeah, definitely. I'm growing him as a quarterback each and every day, and we watched his growth this past year. He's going to be an every down quarterback. That's what we're building him to be. He showed that he just doesn't run the ball. He has the ability to throw touchdowns, and we're building him to be a guy that runs this football team one day. And that's the beauty about the position. Everybody walks out there, and the best man plays. And so it's our job, myself, Coach Applin, our offensive staff, to build those quarterbacks that are in that room, Charlie Johnston and Harrison Faulkner, and those guys that are those young quarterbacks, that when it's their opportunity, that they can go out and not only function but succeed.
That is very interesting what he said right there. So they're basically saying that this quarterback, I mean, this team could be Weston Bryant's next year. That's really interesting. And I didn't even think about that when we were listening to this entire, situation. I didn't even think about that going down the long run, when you are thinking like, hey, this kid could play right now, but you're going to continue to put this guy in a position to be great. And that's really cool. All right, with that being said, let's look at the draft class. Let's look at the signing day kids that made it on the team. And where is this? I want to pull this up on the screen. Okay, there we go. So these are the kids. I'm not going to go through all of these signings because we'll be here all day. But these are the guys that came through. We talked about the ones in December, so I'm not going to go through those. And these are the guys that are here. We have 2 quarterbacks, 1 high school, 1 transfer, 1 running back, 1 transfer from JUCO, 1 tight end from high school, 7 wide receivers transferred. Remember what I told you guys about Cam Brown? And we also needed him. But when I told you about Cam Brown, I'm telling you, this right here, it makes a lot of sense to bring guys in who wants to play. 5 offensive linemen, 3 transfer, 2 from high school. Defensive linemen, 1 transfer. Outside linebackers, 2 transfer, 1 high school. Inside linebacker, 2 transfer, 1 high school. 10 DBs, 5 transfer, 5 high school. That is really interesting, bringing that many DBs in. 1 kicker, that's a transfer. 1 long snapper from a transfer. 17 play high school football in Georgia. 25 of the 35 played high school football in Georgia or one of the surrounding states. 71% of those kids have played around the area or inside Georgia. 9 high school signees will join us this summer, including Jack Berquist. He just signed today. He just signed this morning. As of today, Georgia Southern will have 44 newcomers on the roster next year. 22 of the 44 play high school football in Georgia. 34 of the 44 play high school football in Georgia or one of the surrounding areas. So that's up to 80%. This is the entire class. Like we said, we just talked about Jack Berquist, tight end out of Florida. He just signed. And these are all the transfers that came in. Diego Viales, Avals, I think I said that wrong, out of Wingate, linebacker. Marion Brown, defensive lineman out of Wofford. Anthony Bynum, outside linebacker from Tennessee. Mo Clipper, I like that name. Mo Clipper Jr., outside linebacker from Charlotte. Festus Davis, outside linebacker from West Georgia. Greg Delaney, defensive back, 180, 6'1", 180. Okay, from Syracuse. Blake Ford from North Texas, kicker. Chasen Glenn, long snapper from Georgia Military. That's the second one from, no, that's the first one, Georgia Military. Andre Green, wide receiver, 6 foot, 200 pounds from Virginia. Ashton Holland, 6'5", 190 from Illinois. Max Johnson, we already talked about him, 6'5", 225 from North Carolina. Noble Johnson, 6'3", 210 out of Arizona State. We got some bodies at receiver. I mean, some big guys. Jakari Jones, 5'10", 190 from southeastern Louisiana. Cam King, 195, 6'1", 195 from Auburn. Noah Mangham, 5'11", 190 out of Abilene Christian, Texas. Aiden McCowan, DB, 6 foot, 175 out of Nichols. Cam Michael, that's the guy that we was talking about, 6'2", 195 from Colorado. Rashawn Miles, 6'1", 220, inside linebacker for Abilene Christian. That's the second one. So we got some couple of teammates coming in. Let's see. Yeah. Noah and Rashawn. Okay. 2 teammates from Abilene Christian. Okay. Cole Norred, outside linebacker from Tennessee State. King Phillips, another wide receiver, 6'3", 185 from Texas A&M Kingsville. Josh Raymond, outside line. I said outside linebacker, offensive lineman, 6'4", 300 out of Florida State. Aaron Seals, DB, for Stephen F. Austin, 5'10", 180. Alex Taylor, 6'2", 195 from North Carolina. So we got another Alex Taylor and Max Johnson, couple of teammates coming in. And we got Therese Woodgett, 5'10", 190 out of Georgia Military. So we got a few guys that were teammates in other spots. That's really, really interesting. And all these other guys we talked about already. And I think we talked about these guys in December when we did the last. Yeah, we talked about these guys on the last video when we did the signings from the last signing day. So these are all the guys we got. Listen, these guys leveled up, man. Georgia Southern has done phenomenal with these pickups. We lost a lot of guys. We picked up a lot of guys. And to be honest, a lot of guys that we picked up, I think they're actually more talented than some of the guys we lost. I mean, it's very tough to replace a Cam Brown, but when you have Cam Michael coming in from Colorado, very, very talented receiver. I mean, you're almost splitting hairs, right? But it's yet to be seen once he gets on the field. You got all these other receivers coming in, guys that are 6'5", 6'2", 6'3". You got a lot of guys there, a lot of DBs that are 6 foot, 5'11". They got size as well. Offensive linemen in the 300s. I mean, we got guys that is going to be here, and I think that this team could be very special. We're not talking about a bunch of freshmen coming in. These are guys that have some experience and played at Power 5 schools that actually know how to ball. And bringing those guys in along with the young guys, this is exactly what you kind of want to see in this era of college football now. And it just looked like this could bode well for the team. As of right now, I don't see any other team in the Sun Belt that's actually doing as well as Georgia Southern. I mean, I'm biased, but still at the end of the day, I truly believe that. So I look at it like this. Look, we're going to be fine. We definitely leveled up and we look really good right now. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. And I really appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.